Hi there everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now, it's no secret that people paying attention will be aware that the Tech Priests of Mars, the Admech, will be getting their new codex soon, and GW has been showcasing some of their rules, stratagems, relics, that kind of thing. But I don't want to talk about that today. There was an article on the GW website last week showcasing some mind-boggling conversions, and I'm probably going to butcher your name now, and I apologize if I do. Mikhail van Leeuwen has done some conversions based on some of the old artwork that I believe the artist was called John Blanche, found in the old codexes or the old rule books. Really weird stuff. Really, it's like the blurring the line between man and machine, and that is, in my opinion, what really Admech should be about. Just disgustingly weird humans that are starting to lose themselves in the machine, that have gone so far in one direction that they could barely be called human anymore. So I thought, let's go into the internet and find examples of just amazing kit bashes for the Admech to really get those creative juices going and get people really pumped for that new codex. So, without further ado, silence please as we enter the gallery. Now, first off, you're a tech priest, but your standard issue body given to you by your colleagues, that's just not cutting it for the battlefields of the 41st millennium. You need something a bit more hard-wearing. Well, I'll give you this. Tech Priest 2.0. Now, the question arises, is that a suit? Does he just plug himself into it? Is he basically a head that switches between bodies? Who knows at this point, but what I do know is that is one jacked Tech Priest, ready to go to war in the Omnisci's name. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong there in the comments, that's a Castellan robot. Don't know where they got that big ass gun from on his arm, and I'm guessing that's just a shooter on top. It looks very orky, but it all comes together so well. This is the guy you want leading your Admech forces. Right at the front, just slow march across the table, crushing people under that massive war suit. It is absolutely fantastic, and the paint job is amazing. It really looks like some battered old war suit, for want of a better word, that's just seen so much action, and I think this really would fit into the Admech range. Speaking of battered and old, what happens if you're a tech priest that once you've expunged the maximum amount of flesh you can from your body, because obviously the flesh is weak, how do you keep yourself alive without going full machine? Because obviously that is blasphemy. Don't worry, the internet's got you covered. Brain in a tank, or bits of body in a tank, or bits of whatever in a tank. Basically, a floating tank with bits of body in it that somehow has legs and guns. I love this idea. I love the idea of like a cheesy sci-fi universe where you can just have body parts in a tank and somehow they're still alive. And I suppose this is the natural endpoint. If you want to get rid of as much of your body as possible to replace it with the strong machine, this is probably where you're going to end up. And this is a popular idea because this is not the only example I've seen of this. Check out that. Absolutely fantastic job there. Striding across the battlefield, probably being kept alive by God knows how many force fields and tubes and tanks and catheter bags. Ugh, God knows. But it looks weird, it looks wonderful, and more to the point, it looks like it belongs in the Admech range. Now, speaking of belonging in the Admech range, I have made no secret that the hover tank thing, the Scorpec destroyer, or is it called the gyrocopter? I'm not too sure. The flyer and the new tank that they released don't really float my boat. So I went out there to find examples of how they should have been done, and better. Speaking of the flyer first, I give you, what if Admech but blimp? This thing is amazing. By far the best piece of today. It is just basically bits of terrain that have been converted into an Admech blimp. And it looks so good. It looks like it fits into the range so much better than the current flyer. A gigantic war machine hovering around the battlefield, dropping off hardware and supplies and reinforcements to the forces of the Omnisci. I mean, the way the knight there is positioned in front of it, it looks like this thing could have been carrying a knight into battle and just sort of deploying it from the air. sort of like just dropping onto the battlefield. It looks so good, and it looks like it fits into the range so well. And all that is terrain. Just terrain that has been converted in a way to make it absolutely amazing. I don't know what your name is, I don't know where you come from, but my friend, you have done a fantastic job. I hope you're paying attention, GW, because, you know, this is what you should have been going for. Now, lastly, that tank, the hover tank, not a fan, but I tell you what I am a fan of, big ass spider tanks. This is essentially a Gene Stealer Cult Goliath vehicle with what I'm guessing is some ordinary Doomcrawler legs, and he somehow managed to mishmash the terrain at the back. I'm thinking it's the part of the set that's the train, the industrial train. Basically just turn it into a big fucking gun. This, ladies and gentlemen, this is what heavy-duty war machines in the AdMech should look like. Slow, ponderous, spider tanks just packing insane amounts of devastating firepower. And don't worry, I've got an image of this with some paint on the hull. Huh? Huh? God, that looks good. It looks like it just fits. It just works. And it works so well, it's unbelievable. I don't know how GW went down the route they did with that other tank, but, you know, the ideas are out there, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to make your own death robot spider tank, you can do. And I suppose that's the overall theme of today. If you've got an idea, go out there and build it. Kit bash your heart away, because the forces of the Omnissiah can always use bigger, deadlier, killier robots and tanks. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you like these conversions? Do you not like them? What's your favourite? Have you got examples of kit bashes out there that you've seen that you want to share? It's all about sharing and trying to get those creative juices flowing. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me in the gallery, and I will see you all next time. See you later.